The title is the topic. Today I want to explain an issue I see when it comes to Anita Sarkeesian's work and journalism. Her Tropes vs. Women in Video Games series seem to go under the radar and get a free pass even though it is based on lazy research.
Studied extensively.
Just because Anita is harassed does not mean her work should be excluded from scrutiny. Want to see what happens when you give Anita a challenging question?
What do you say about people who say don't feed the trolls?
That is real journalism. Real journalists aren't afraid to ask challenging questions.
I think that is a pretty good attitude to take, but I think there's a difference between not engaging one-on-one with the trolls.
You were getting trolled before your Kickstarter.
How do I deal with trolls?
You didn't get trolled when you got into gaming. You've always had trolls.
And the more popular I get, the more I get. Like 4chan has found me, and they're atrocious.
There is harassment, and there is bullying, but this is perpetuated by trolls. And the way to deal with these trolls is not to blame the male gaming culture.
So, if they think of their abuse as a fun game, then let's examine this. Who are the players? Well, often when we talk about online harassment, we think of teenage boys in their parents' basements. And while I was attacked by some teenage boys, I was also attacked by thousands of grown men. And this isn't entirely surprising considering the average age of the male gamer in the US is about 30.
And now that she is spinning this narrative of harassment, she doesn't have to worry about having her work scrutinized by journalists.
Studied extensively.
Most of her interviews and public appearances focus on harassment, but they rarely talk about her work in depth. If anyone asks her basic questions about her work or challenges her claims, it looks like this.
Give me some names. Name some names.
So in the work that I do, I look at hundreds of examples of video games
So
and
can you think of three? Can you think of three?
Anita doesn't like to answer specific questions because when you get into specifics, her arguments start to look weak. She likes to generalize because it makes her claims sound more widespread than they may be in reality.
I can, but I think it's a bigger issue to talk about the industry as a whole and how it perpetuates these ideas of sexism and misogyny as opposed to just Grand Theft Auto, for example.
So many of the current gaming journalists are so wrapped up in the harassment of women angle, they have since lost all common sense when it comes to Anita's work. They should seek the truth no matter what their emotions or personal bias tells them, yet no one is looking past their sympathy for Anita. They use her harassment as an excuse to sweep any legitimate criticism of her work under the rug. All I've seen since Anita has come on the scene is all her work goes under the radar, even though there is plenty of legitimate criticism. I've already reviewed Damsel in Distress Part 1 and 2. If you ever have some spare time, I invite you to check them out. Links in the description. You are also more than welcome to check out my playlist on Anita Sarkeesian and her work.
I get a lot of support from people who really like my videos, and they've even been used as educational tools in classrooms. Educational tools.
I leave my audience with one question.
Oh, did I win?